What's up, guys? Welcome to Joy of the Trade. This is my first episode of Fade That Move. In these videos, I want to take you through extreme moves that we've seen like today or yesterday or this week in a stock or a sector. And I'm going to be contrarian and tell you to take the other side of that trade. When I'm talking to you about these things, I'm pretty high conviction that you could get in at a pretty decent entry point. Now, these aren't part of my service per se. Some of them might be, but I want to just highlight moves that I feel like are extreme, overdone, exaggerated, and possibly totally incorrect. So for today's Fade That Move, I want to look at the cannabis sector. The cannabis sector has been on fire literally until yesterday when we saw a crash. We saw an absolute puke in pot stocks and the cannabis names. And I'm here to tell you to fade that puke. You can nibble on these stocks. You can buy some of these stocks. Let's look at the chart and I'll explain to you why. Let's start with my favorite and a stock that's actually in my money link service. This is one of my long trades and I've got in at a nice level and I'm looking at some pretty nice hefty returns on that recommendation. But we've seen this big candle yesterday where we hit 30 million shares of this bad boy, which is an extraordinary amount, over $1 billion worth of cannabis growth traded yesterday, which is wild. That is wild. And we've seen it just going. And what happened? Why is this happening? Is there a fundamental reason for this up move? The answer is yes, there's a fundamental reason. You've got this blue wave. You've got this new administration. You have Virginia. You have New York. You have a lot of states looking at federally legalizing it as soon as, or not statewide, legalizing it this year. You have a federal initiative in Congress to open up banking, which is huge. They haven't been able to be banked, these companies in the United States. That's huge. That's going to allow them to multiply their balance sheet by 5x, 10x. It's going to be something that they can expand their businesses on almost immediately. So this trend came because of a real fundamental shift in the underlying trends and dynamics of the industry, of the sector. What I really like about this space is also that if we go back here, we've already had our first boom in 17 and 18, and then a bust in 20. And now we're looking at our second boom. So the guys that are coming back, the winners like Canopy, and then I'm going to show you another stock in a minute. These guys they've got big deals they're doing with companies like Constellation Brands for billions. So think .com, you had the boom in .com, then you had the bust. The Internet 2.0 that came out gave us companies like Amazon. I'm not saying Canopy is going to be Amazon per se, but the winners of the second generation of investment into a brand new space are usually their bona fide winners for a long period of time. This is another company that I think is going to do that. These guys are unbelievable. They just struck a huge deal with the United Kingdom company to supply them for medicinal marijuana. I mean, billions of dollars. Now, this stock was like a freak show stock in 2018. Went up to 200, 300. That was a GameStop type of move. But here we are, $30, $50. They sold this thing 50% yesterday. 50% in one day. Also having a real fundamental thing happening in this name. I think that this move here, this bar here, is a move you fade. Fade that move. Nibble on these stocks. I am, and I'm talking to my people about it, and I'm still bullish on cannabis. And sometimes you see a big move, like we saw in GameStop, and I said, you can't buy that dip because that stock doesn't belong up there. The fundamentals aren't there. But with these cannabis stocks, fade that move or fade that expletive that you might want to put in there. You heard it here first. LFG.